Hi everyone, I am Jan and today I'm going to present to you TunyStones Rhythm. This is our newest educational app dedicated to kids mostly, but not only. So as you will see later on, it starts quite innocent and introduces rhythm step by step. In our tests, we have been trying it out with professional musicians, and even them had some fun and have been challenged by the TunyStones Rhythm app. When you play this, you can be sure that your coordination will be trained. Let's get started and have a look at it. So, this is one of the main 3 chapters of our app. The first mountain, this is the second mountain, which introduces the 2-player mode. And this is the third mountain, which allows you to custom your own rhythms. As you can see, everything in our app is being covered with an outer skin of a game. So we have here a fictitious world of mountains, we have a river, we have a map, and we have stones, which actually are notes. And we have, maybe most importantly, a main character, which is Tuny. Tuny jumping from one stone to the other. And you're required to tap on the screen and lead Tuny from one stone to the other. By the way, you can tap anywhere on the whole screen in the first mountain. In the second mountain, it's get a bit different. I will talk about it in a second. So let me start with the very first level, which are just 2 quarter notes, super easy. I will start tapping in the beat of the metronome. Okay, everything works fine. Tuny flies away and goes to the next level. The same thing here, it gets a little bit harder as the difficulty of the levels increases gradually. Now, in the end of this level, I'm being pushed back and a new element appears, clouds. So these clouds cover Tuny. Watch Tuny and see that he won't be visible any longer if he crosses the clouds. So why do we do this? People playing it, the kids playing it, the pupils, music pupils playing it, so they see by visual feedback what is the tempo in which they should actually tap on the screen. So there's another level here. But later on, they're challenged to use their ears and lead Tuny only by the means of the ear, because he's no longer visible. This is the same situation which happens when you have a music score in front of you. You're actually meant to play by your ears. Let me try again. Okay, I did it. In the second mountain, you're meant to play with 2 hands. So, there are 2 tunes, and you control with your right hand the right part of the screen. You use your right hand and you control the upper tuning. With the left hand, you control the lower tuning. The levels of the second mountain can be perfectly used also by 2 people. So you can invite a friend and let him play the lower tuning or the higher tuning. Let me try now with 2 hands and 2 fingers. Playing on the tablet, I usually use these 2 fingers to fly. But when I play on a smaller device, it is perfect to use the 2 thumbs of your hand. As you can see here, this level is full of clouds, which makes it not really easier, but forces you to really use your ears. I will now show to you the last mountain, and as in all our apps, the TunyStones Piano app and TunyStones Guitar app, which you might have heard about, also in this app, the last mountain is dedicated to creativity. So what you have here, when you open the very first level, is a rather boring looking level. So you play sounds which are just all equally long. It won't be like this throughout the whole mountain, but the first level is definitely like this. Why? You're now meant to choose the stone which you would like to customize, the stone or the note, which accidentally are similar words. So I have chosen this note here, and I can do the following. I can either tap it and it will be divided into two notes, or I can merge it with the note which is in front of this note, or I can also turn it into a rest by pulling the note down. So let me think what I would like to do here. Maybe I will just tap it, and this note is now being divided. By the way, the guy coming up there is the Tatzelwurm. It's a mystical creature which is known in the Alps. And just a little detail. And now we have the choice in the Savannah Mountain. We have the choice of the weather, something which we wish to have in our usual life sometimes. And let me now choose the cloudy weather. So some clouds will be expected on the way. Voila. There are some clouds, but they're not disturbing me. I still managed to get... Oh no, I didn't. I fell into the water. So nothing terrible. It seems that I was not really on time. So as you can see, a bit of precision is definitely required here. So in the Savannah Mountain, you'll find both levels for one hand and levels for two hands. Okay, how difficult does it actually get in the Savannah Mountain? I can tell you, difficult enough to challenge professional musicians. But we increase the difficulty step by step. So don't worry, if you keep playing regularly, you will actually get to a quite high level and you will develop quite good skills of coordination and rhythm. Another thing which I would like to tell you about are the sounds of our app. So the sounds are recorded by professional musicians and they're dedicated to three worlds of rhythm. One of them is this alpine landscape. We have flute sounds. In the first mountain, we have used the melodies of Bartók, Béla Bartók, a famous Hungarian composer, and we have introduced also melodies of the Fastnacht, the traditional festivity in Switzerland, where, by the way, the app was created. We have the second mountain, which introduces sounds of the gamelan music. Very interesting sounds, which introduce a gong, which introduce metal instruments and are quite new to our ears. In the third mountain, we have been basing the rhythms on a research made by Steve Reich, a composer of the minimalistic music, who was traveling to Africa to learn about African music, about African rhythms. So this is the last mountain where we are using not just the sounds of African instruments, but also the patterns which were found by Steve Reich during his journey to Africa. So I would like to give you this a little background about the development, just to make you see what is behind the outer skin of the app, which looks quite simple and is meant to look simple because it is meant to be a playful kind of learning for kids. But who are actually the creators of TunyStones? So I'm Jan, I'm the inventor of TunyStones Piano, TunyStones Guitar and TunyStones Rhythm. All the apps are based on a research project which was taking place some years ago at the Music Academy in Basel, Switzerland. But of course, behind this development is an outstanding team of IT experts, fantastic designers, and of course, many music educators and testers who were testing and contributing to the development of the app. So I'm very thankful to all these people, including the fantastic musicians who recorded the sounds. So let's now get into a few details about the educational content which is being introduced in the first mountain. So already in the fourth level, we start introducing the second value, namely the eighth notes. In the very beginning, as you can see, there are just two quarter notes. I'll just play them. And now you're asked to press one more time on the screen. So I'll just tap on the screen. And this little Tatzelwurm, it's the magician of the app, let's call him, appears and divides the quarter note into two eighth notes. This is a fantastic way to visualize that actually one quarter note is the same as two eighth notes. Let's go. Okay, I made it. In a very similar way, we introduce the rest. So what happens here? The magician appears when you tap on the screen and turns the quarter note into a quarter rest. Okay, I managed. And now I show to you what would happen if I wouldn't have been unholding. Okay, so I kept holding the sound and then Tuny fell into the water. With regard to the game logic, it's explained fish are jumping above the rest and they're a kind of obstacle to Tuny's legs. So in order to raise the legs, you have to unhold and then he can easily cross the rest. So what happens? Two quarter notes are being merged. Of course, as also by the means of magic of Tatzelwurm appearing and merging those two quarter notes. So the equivalent of two quarter notes obviously is a half note. And now it gets a bit challenging because you have to hold throughout the whole length of the half notes. So I'll show to you now what happens if I unhold the half note a bit too early. So he falls into the water because I don't hold it throughout. Now I'll hold it. Okay. Oh, this is also a very important skill for musicians to actually be aware of the length of the note. So in this app, we do not only train to start a note, but we also train to hold the note throughout its whole value. And also to respect the rests, which are a super important part of music. Next to eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, in this first mountain, we'll also find the dotted rhythm. It is also being introduced by nobody else but the magician, the Tatzelwurm. So let me now just demonstrate to you how difficult it gets by the very end of the second mountain. Let's get started. By the way, the tempo increases automatically if you are successful. So if you play without mistakes for a long term, we have also a syncopation here, as you can see. A rest. So this is the grand finale of this mountain, ending with a beautiful gong from the gamelan music from Bali. So a few words about the pricing. Our app is accessible via subscription, and the price of a monthly subscription is the equivalent of a cappuccino price in your country. The yearly subscription is 4 times the price of the monthly subscription. So if you're planning to play the app for more than 4 months, which I would highly recommend because actually you learn through regular use of the app, then it's worth for you go for the annual subscription. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to our channel to know more about TunyStones. Also get to know our Instagram channel. Have a great time using TunyStones. Enjoy and a good learning time as well.